All right. Yeah. This one, I think, this third drink, I think just drink as you go, because those. If we do a third shot, like bang bang bang, I think both of us could be throwing up on ourselves, and it'll make a bad podcast. So what did you have? I started the podcast, by the way.
Oh, I was gonna pee before, but now you started it. I gotta hold it in for an hour.
No, or just go pee while we're talking. I won't tell
All right, I'm
anybody.
gonna pee. Well, you know what? Listen, people. I just want you to visualize that I'm pissing on this
Well,
podcast right
pee
now.
be like the smart, like when I'm on the phone with someone and I gotta pee. 9 times out of 10, I pee where
You need it.
I aim at the side wall so nobody hears it.
Oh,
It's
fuck your sidewalls. I'm going straight here.
This is classless. This is why you're losing TikTok followers, because you have no class.
I gained a shit ton overnight.
All right.
So I'm peeing. I don't care.
All right. Well, good for you. So
You know what, CJ, if you're listening,
so
here we go.
you sent me a photo of the Terramana.
Terramana, which is Dwayne the Rock Johnson's tequila.
Tequila. It's such a scam ass gimmick. How much does a bottle of that cost?
No, it's like $25.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Not bad.
All right,
No,
fair-
he does not overcharge. I will say
No,
that.
I get it. I know that they're going for quantity over quality there. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I had
The quality is good because I don't like tequila, and it's actually really good tequila.
dude, I can't. I did tequila. I'll tell you how many years ago this was. So many years ago. It was in my first apartment ever, and Broder, you remember Broder?
Yeah.
He was over for we were watching a wrestling pay-per-view, and we did shots. I don't even remember what for. We made some kind of drinking game out of the WWE pay-per-view, or maybe it was WCW. It was so far back in the day that both were running, so that tells you something. So it was at least it was late 90s. It had to have been like late 90s. So whatever the drinking game requirement that required shots, it happened so many times that I got blitzed. I don't remember 99%.
You blacked out.
99% of the here's a little tidbit about me. I blackout drink a lot.
Listen, I've been around you where you've been pretty hammered a couple times.
Yeah. I black out, right? And I won't remember the entire night. And then I'll piece it together the next day with photos and with people's accounts and whatever. And I think to myself, oh, I had a really good time. And almost everyone says I'm a really good drunk. I'm like super friendly. Everyone loves drunk Ben. But
Yeah, of course. You're a great guy. Great guy.
But when I drink, I am. When I'm sober, I'm not. But my regret is always when I do blackout drink is that I missed the fun time. Like I was there and everyone had a blast, but I missed it. I have no recall of it and whatever. So I try and ride that fine line. Sometimes, like back in the day when there were other gimmicks involved, it was hard to figure out what the balance was until you learned the next day. Oh, I can't do that again. But we drank so much at this, and it was tequila. That's the problem. It was tequila. I was sick for like 2 days, which has put me off tequila forever. And I know that tequila was the wrong drink to use as a drinking
In the moment.
for a drinking game, because I think tequila is like the rowdy drink for a lot of people. Like
It is, right.
and so when people drink tequila as opposed to like vodka or whiskey or whatever, or beer, they or wine, they get fucking rowdy. And I can attest to this because I don't remember it happening, but there was a head-shaped hole in my bedroom wall of my apartment that I had to patch like 6 months later. Like not a whole hole, but like a huge dent. Like you know, that like it was like either someone threw a bowling ball, which nobody had there was no bowling balls.
Maybe they did. You don't remember.
Well, I know that there were no bowling balls present in my apartment, or nobody brought one over. So I just know that tequila, and so I was super sick for like 2 days afterwards, and ever since then I've like 20 years later, whatever how many years it is, 20 plus years later, I can't even like smell tequila. It makes me sick still. So So,
So you want to hear my tequila story since we're on that, and I just drank some?
sure.
This is actually a good one.
So wait, what's your third? Like we have a sipping drink. I hope you're sipping on
right.
it.
So my sipping drink is a Tito's vodka, nice American
I love
Texas-made
Tito's. Smooth.
vodka.
I love.
Right. Tito's doesn't give me a hangover.
I love Tito's.
So
I can drink with just soda water. You know, like seltzer water.
yes,
And like
yeah.
if I have a lime or lemon, great. If not, I'm still good, just with some ice.
So I used to drink Tito's with a lime on the rock.
Yeah.
And sometimes soda water. I do like ginger ale in it sometimes, but today I'm going with a banana orange fruit juice inside of it. A little fruity version.
Mm.
But my vodka story, Eric was actually there for this. We were
vodka
maybe 22. Tequila. So the last time I drank tequila before this year, or this past 2021, I mean, was when we were 22 years old. We were going to go out, and I was, for some odd reason, first of all, there's backstory. There's a whole story to this. So I had like earlier that day gone to the swap shop, which the swap shop, you know what it is.
Yeah.
The swap shop is a flea market, an outdoor indoor flea market that's one of the largest attractions in Florida. It's huge, right?
Yeah, it's like one
They
of
used to have a
the.
circus.
It's like it's always like the number 2, like tourist attraction. Yeah, it's a big one for South Florida.
Right.
Because it's like an outlet mall. It's the same concept of an outlet mall, but way bigger. Because and so when like foreigners, the thing is that we're a hub for like South American travel and stuff. So we get a lot of foreigners that like to shop when they come here, and so the swap shop's like ideal because not only is it like just a ton of vendors. Like you don't understand how big this property is and how many people rent spaces to sell stuff, but also that like there's haggling involved because it's a flea market.
Yeah.
So like that a lot of other countries, that's like their vibe. You know, it's not like you're not going to Macy's and they're like, there's no haggling here. It's like the price is right there. It is or yes or no. You know. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, this is a little bit of freedom. You know.
Right. So for those reasons, it's like anyone that comes to South Florida, it's an exciting place to like check out for like 4 hours or so.
For some odd reason, like I knew we were going out that night. It was like a whole group of us going out, and we were shopping in one of the stores, and I see this like matching shorts and T-shirt. I don't even know what made me think this was a good idea. They were red and white. It was red shorts and like a red and white button-up shirt, and I'm like, I'm wearing that tonight.
What do you mean button-up?
And Eric's like a button-up shirt.
Like all the way?
Shirt.
All the way? Or
yes,
just
like a dress shirt.
Or just like, oh, that's weird. That is weird.
So I'm like, I'm going to buy it. And Eric's like,
long sleeve?
the same one.
Or short sleeve?
No, short sleeve, which makes it even worse. So, and they were shorts, and the shorts were like I guess you could say like kind of like a khaki golfer short, but they were red, like bright red.
Yeah.
And they went down like below my knees, like total like Eminem in like 1998. So, and this was like 2001. So or 2001 or 2. So Eric's like, well, I'm going to get the green one of it. If you're going to get the red, I'll get the green.
You guys are like the Mario Brothers.
Yeah, or like Dumb and Dumber. That's what it was really like.
Well, I mean,
Christmas
they were orange and blue, baby blue.
Right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, though. We look like idiots.
Yes,
anyway,
the same concept, definitely.
So I'm going to wear the button-up shirt, but I'm only going to – at the time, I was in great shape. I'm going to button it up only like halfway and let the wife beater – and I like at that time, like I'm a hairy fuck right now, but at that time I was shaving my whole body because we were wrestling all over the freaking earth. So I had like clean shaven body, we had shaved heads, and I had a goatee, and so I wore it with like a tank top underneath and it opened, like in the shirt open. So we're powering down tequila like it's nobody's business, and I'm starting to get a little rowdy. I can feel it.
How are you drinking the tequila?
We're just taking shots, and we're bar hopping.
Are you like just tequila, or like the whole like salt and lime and?
No, we're just taking shots of tequila. Like, no salt, no lime.
Vile.
Right.
Vile.
And we're like powering them down. So we end up getting to this one bar. We're in East Boca, like on Federal Highway. And we get to this one bar and we walk in and the bar, and it's like a whole bunch of us. And I'm feeling like rowdy at this point. And the bar is full of like old white men, like with big giant beards. And they're like bikers. So like, you got frickin' Frack in there. And everybody else we were with was like normal. But we had like a couple big guys with us. We walk in, I am fucking blitzed. Like, I am blitzed like nobody's business. And I'm like starting to get like, I drank too much tequila and I'm getting sick. Like, I'm starting to get that taste in my mouth where you're like the taste you probably have right now.
Well, I just took another sip of my.
That's why I said that. Yeah. I'm going to take a sip
of
here
my
myself,
Knob Creek, and it's, well, I just got Knob Creek on the rocks. I should have mixed it with some because this is this is the third basically shot of it in like the span of like 5 to 10 minutes here, and
should have mixed it.
Oh, like it's like cloying in the back of my throat,
it's no good.
And my face is getting like
I had to mix it.
My face is getting warm, like
right.
This could be. A good
I know
podcast.
What you mean. I took the first shot and my whole left cheek got warm, like my ear and my cheek. So anyway, we walk into this bar and we're in there 2 seconds, and this big fat white guy with a giant beard and a biker jacket turns and goes, "What is this, fucking Christmas? You guys look like Santa Claus."
Yeah, you're green and red, yeah, and white.
I lost my shit, and I was like, "What the fuck did you say, old man?" And he's like, "You heard me. You look like fucking Santa Claus." And he's like, "You're a little elf over here." And Eric's like, "This fucking guy serious?" I was like, "Old man, I'll break your fucking face." And he got up out of his chair, and like some of the other biker guys did. And, our group got up, and we're younger, big, we had one guy that was like Jack. We had one guy that was a cop. He was off, duty. But we had some pretty big guys with us. So we were kind of like all square up, and the bar owner's like, oh. And the guy's like, I'm like fucking shit-faced. And everybody's kind of like getting calm, and the guy's like, fucking clown. And I'm like, I charge at him. And Eric grabs me with one arm, like just scoops me up. And I'm like, he's like got me by the waist, and I'm like, I'm like swinging, and like his guys are holding him back, and I'm like, "You old fucking fat fuck, I'll kill you." The funny thing is this guy had a big white beard. He was fat. He looked like Santa Claus, not me. Just my outfit did.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you want to borrow my outfit? He fucking wanted me.
He felt threatened. You were like encroaching on his gimmick.
Right. And I'm saying, "Hey, what do you want to borrow my outfit? You look like fucking Santa Claus." And now everybody's laughing, and only me and this guy are going at it. And everybody on both sides are like, "You two fucking clowns." So they settle down, and the guys are like, "Come on, everybody just have a drink." So like me and the guy shake it out, and he's like, "I was just fucking with you." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm fucking hammered." Like I was hammered. So they're like round a shot. So everybody like takes a shot. And I, like, within seconds, I was like, I got to go to the bathroom. I puked everywhere, all over. I didn't even make it to the toilet. It was all over this bathroom at this bar.
Tremendous.
Like, everywhere. Like, I just fucking... But I think part of it was I got active in that moment, and I, like, charged at the guy, and Eric was holding
Too
my
much
stomach,
activity,
and
yeah.
Too much activity. I puked. So I came out of the bathroom. And
Puke and rally,
like,
right?
You all right?
Puke and rally, right?
What?
You rallied, right?
I came back out, and I'm good. And they're like, "You sure?" I was like, I'm good. I don't remember the rest of the evening. Like, we went to other bars, but I kept going because I was like, I got it all out. I'm back, baby. And the rest is a blur. I did not drink. I woke up the next morning, and I could just feel the tequila coming out of my skin.
Oh,
I have not had tequila until Thanksgiving of 2021. I bought Terramana Thanksgiving.
Because you're a Mark.
The first time I had
because you're fucking Mark.
Yes, I am. I'm a Mark. Yeah, right. I want to fucking make Dwayne happy.
You want to?
I bought his vodka.
You think if you drink the same the same tequila that The Rock drinks, that somehow that'll make you two friends, or that'll make you more jacked or more cool. It doesn't work that way. I'm gonna break it to you now.
No?
At your
sure?
your tender 40 years of age, that's not how it works. You know,
Man, and I've tagged him in posts. He doesn't even look at it.
yeah,
That guy.
he no sells you
Yeah.
because you're like he's annoyed that jabronis are drinking his drink, that it's not the drink of the cool guys, that all the fucking guys that buy 3XL, 4XL black wrestling T-shirts are buying his fucking his drink.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
He's like, this backfired. I mean, we're selling a shitload of it, but it's not helping my image at all. Yeah. So, it's funny. You reminded me of a story after one of your shows. I think it was one of your shows because it involved Jesse Neal and Jackie and Snake Master. Right. So I assumed it was one of your shit shows. I don't think you wouldn't have gone back with us because it was probably a Pompano show. We went back to a biker bar that's open till like 6. They're like,
no, I don't think I did.
They're open to like every bar has to close at 4, but I think this bar doesn't obey rules. I'm pretty sure we were there.
It doesn't obey rules.
Right, because it's a biker bar and it's in Davie and it's like deep in Davie. And, the Davie cops know better than to fuck with a biker bar that deep in Davie. So we walked in and it was like such a motley crew. It was like me, Jackie, and Jessica. It was Jesse Neal. It was Snake Master. I don't remember who else was there, but there were all these bikers there.
Oh, I'm gonna throw up. Keep going.
And 2 things happened that night.
Talk through it. Yeah.
2 things happened that night. I discovered that there was something called pear cider. Like I've heard of apple cider, but I'd never heard of pear cider. And this bar, I think it's like out west off of like 84, like west of like me. I think Griffin. I'm thinking Griffin, but I think that's Uncle Al's. I think this is some other bar that
Uncle Al's is in Griffin.
Yeah, but Uncle Al's is a chicken wing joint and a bar. This is some other place. I think it's on 84. I forget the name of it, but it's similar to Uncle Al's. It's like something with an A also, I think. But anyway, there was like, we walked in and I'm like, oh my God, this is the dive bar. This is the kind of place you walk in. And I think if I had a black guy with me, they would have made the record skipping sound, the kind of thing. And everyone would have turned around, that kind of bar. But so we walk in and we're chilling out. We're all just being cool, doing our thing. I don't remember who else was with us. It couldn't have just been that. I got to look at the pictures because there's some photos from that night.
I wasn't there.
There's some photos of that night. But apparently at some point, Jesse started talking to like one of the old time bikers, like one of these like crusty fucking old timers. And apparently they were both, I think they were both Navy men. Was Jesse was in the Navy, right?
He's in the Navy, yeah.
So they found out that he was a survivor of the Cole. And, if anyone doesn't...
He was, right.
If anyone doesn't know, the Cole was a ship stationed in the Middle East. And Jesse was on it with his best friend. And they were both going to... Their plan was after they finished their tours in the military, that they were going to become pro wrestlers together, to be a tag team, et cetera, et cetera. And the bombing of the Cole, I think Jesse's friend died in it. And... it was like, I think a boat ran into them and it exploded or something. It was something, but it's like, if you're not familiar with it, look it up because it's a terrorist attack, and he survived a terrorist attack serving for our country. And so he went on to be a pro wrestler to not only, because he not only was it a dream of his, but to honor it for his friend. It was almost like if you've seen Forrest Gump, where he went into the shrimping business to honor his friend Bubba, who died, who they were going to do it together. So, like, that was Impact always milked that story, and I'm surprised WWE at any point wasn't interested in, when they were doing like all those tribute for the troops and all this other shit, that they wouldn't have been interested in that as well, which is a shame because Jesse's a good guy. I don't know, everyone has their own personal experiences, but I've had the good, bad, and the ugly with Jesse, but I like Jesse, and so anyway, but he was like our gateway. Then all of a sudden, it was like no holds barred. It was like everyone was. It was like a big party with all the bikers with us and whatever until I think I saw the sun starting to crack through the windows. I was like, oh man, we gotta fucking go. I thought they were gonna kick us out at 4, but apparently the rules don't apply here. So yeah. So that reminded me of that story. But
I'm glad I didn't go.
Why? It was a great time,
Sounds
actually. I mean,
but
the way I describe it, but the way I describe it with Jackie and Snake Mass, whatever. But it was like one of those perfect storms where all the planets were aligned, where all these people were wonderful to be around that night, instead of, what they're notorious for, which is the opposite of being wonderful around.
Yeah.
Especially when alcohol's involved.
Right.
I'm gonna have to look at those pictures and see who else.
Yeah, who was there? I'm curious.
Yeah, I do every time, like on Facebook, once a year that picture pops up in my like memories, and I'm always like, at first I'm squinting at the one guy, going, "Who the fuck is that?" And then I remember, oh, that's the fucking salty old fucking Navy guy that was in the biker gang that fucking started talking to Jesse. I think Jesse saw like a tattoo on his arm or something that was like Navy related, and then they started talking. Yeah, you know how that goes. So, but it was you just reminded me of that story. Oh shit.
Yeah. In I know we said we were going to talk about wrestling. We really got fucking sidetracked.
Well, I mean, wrestling. I've dropped a Snake Master and a Jesse Neal. How is this not a wrestling podcast at this point?
I mean, well, Jesse Neal. I don't know about the Snake Master part.
I was kind of joking about both, because I don't think either's in the wrestling. I don't think either's currently in the wrestling business these days.
No.
I don't. I love Jesse, but I'm gonna take my shots. I don't know what wife, what baby he's on. I don't know what combination of the two.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
I don't fucking care. Listen, I'm 3 drinks in. This is what we get. This is the podcast you're gonna get. L'chaim.
Jesus.
Oh,
yeah. Wow.
I mean, he'd laugh at that. I mean, how do you not laugh at that yourself? Like, if that was, if someone took that shot at me and it applied, I'd be like, you know what? I can't fucking be mad at that. That's funny and it's true. Like in the what did they say?
Made me think about the other Jesse Neal story at the con. I don't know. I don't even know if I should be telling this.
Well, you should. Hold on.
I got 2.5 drinks in me, and I'm loose lips Nelly.
You should, but I do always think of a picture I have of you and Jesse wearing the Year of the Rat T-shirts you're like posing with like with a waitress from like whatever place we were at the time, like a ale house or something.
Oh, that's right. And we were doing like giving the thumbs up, and she had no fucking clue.
Yeah.
No clue.
Oh.
Yeah. Good times. I remember at the SuperCon that he was like with that one girl, and he was like, I forgot her name, Christina or whatever. And
Christina Von Eerie.
Yeah, her, and he was like telling me how. Like,
no,
go to the hospital.
Yeah, no. You don't need to tell that story.
We're not telling that story.
No. She's a very nice. No. She's a very nice girl. She's happily married now. No.
Wait a second. Are you telling me not to tell a story on the podcast?
I am, because that's very personal information about someone.
The guy that called Snake Master Shake Master? You're telling me?
I don't think I ever called him that. I think you just coined that.
You did. Oh, you did. You are guilty, my friend.
Oh my God, no. No, you can't. You
should drink more often and do this podcast. It's way more entertaining.
CVE is a very nice girl. She did.
All right, I won't tell the story.
She's super cool. She's married to this guy Scotty Mack, who by the way, he's a Canadian wrestler. And let me tell you something. He's friends with Drexel. They did Peru together, all that shit. But I got to tell you, lately, in the last like 6 months, he's been like the tinfoil hat Canadian guy. Like with all the crazy shit that's going on in Canada and all the quote freedoms being infringed upon, he's making some fucking posts that I'm like, wow, if I lived in Canada and I was on the other side of this, I'd have already unfriended him. But since I don't know the issues of Canada and I'm not Canadian, I don't give a fuck. Go rant,
I don't know him, and I don't really know her. So, but I don't know.
Listen, I don't know her beyond the weekend that we booked her that you're talking about. But she did a great job, and she was cool, and she's friends with Drexel, and she's friends with Like, listen, I'm cool. She's friends with she's done a lot of work with Sam in Hood Slam also. So I'm like, listen, I'm not.
Okay.
Listen,
All right, we'll
yeah.
move on from enough. You
I
don't have to
know,
put her over anymore.
I know
Oh,
the,
okay,
I know the exact story
you
you're
made up
talking
for it.
about.
I know you know the story.
And I'm not fucking.
We'll move
I'm
on. You want to talk
exercising.
about more wrestling?
Listen,
Let's talk
I'm
wrestling.
3 drinks deep and I'm still exercising restraint, if you believe it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm almost done with this one. By the way, I don't know where you are on yours.
I'm almost done. I'm my eyes are crossed over here. I'm I don't even know. Anyway,
okay.
So what do you want to talk about then? If I'm being censored today. This is
no. That's the only
ridiculous.
thing. That's the only thing. And you would never have thought to talk about that except that I start talking about Jesse. You could tell any other Jesse Neal story you want. We could even.
I mean, you nailed it on the head. You don't know what wifey is with a baby mama and child. So I think we've nailed it.
I just remember. I love Jesse too. I remember there I had a similar issue that I had with Johnny Vandal, except that Johnny kind of got pissed. Remember, Johnny got pissy with me at the SuperCon shows because, money and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, there's no money. Everyone does this for fun. We try and take care of you as best we can otherwise in terms of feeding you and giving you a hotel and like giving you the opportunity to get laid 4 nights in a row if you have any fucking game, you know. And then I think I was yelling at him in the locker room with you. And not with you, but you saw us going at it, and you pulled him aside and gave him a talk or two, like, "What the fuck are you doing? Stop being an idiot." And then the next day, this is the funny part. This was at the animation show, not the comic book show. That I was still in that first room with the cement floors, not the carpeted ballroom, and I come in early the next day because the convention's all day, no matter when the wrestling is. And I've got other responsibilities and whatever else. So I come and I go into our locker room area, which I figure is just empty. And I was going to start cleaning it up of like everyone's fucking garbage and empty bottles, whatever. And Johnny's just like been sleeping on the floor there all night.
But he spent the whole night there. Yeah.
He did. He stayed overnight. He didn't stay in anyone's rooms though, which means he probably was out having a good time with people. And he came up to me like an hour later and he was like, "Listen, I apologize. I was totally wrong." I think he had fun that night and realized that like booking here is access to the show in a way that most people don't have access to the show. And if you want to, you can make this booking is make what you want of it. You get out of it what you want. You can be miserable and not enjoy it and be mad at the low pay, or you can be like, all right, the pay is low, but there's so much fun to be had and whatever. But Jesse, I think here was the thing with Jesse was it's sort of like that, but it wasn't with me. Jesse held Broder up for money at one point before. I think it was a show you and I did together.
It was that show. 100%. I remember that show because I remember he came to me and was like, "I need more money." I was like, "What?" And I was like, "You got to go to Broder." Like, I'm not, I think me and you pawned it off kind of.
Well, but it's kind of like if you booked someone, it was like under an agreement of whatever. It wasn't like so you showing up and then saying I need more is like that's always wrong.
Right.
So what happened? I think Broder gave him the fuck you money and was just like had written him off. He's like, I'm so busy running this convention. I have so many plates spinning and so many more important things to deal with that if I got to throw you another $50 to just it's like the go away dollar at a strip club when the hideous snaggletooth beast comes up to you and it's just totally hustling you and you give him the go away dollar. I don't know if it's the same now, but back when I'm showing my age, but like in the 90s and 2000s, it was called the go away dollar. You're like, here, if I give you $1, this is the agreement. You leave me the fuck alone, at least until you've made your rotation to come back to me.
Right.
So, So Broder basically gave him the go away dollar and made a mental note and said, "I'm never fucking dealing with this guy."
Yeah,
again.
I remember that. Uh-huh.
But then I booked him again. And Broder was so fucking mad at me and was like, "What are you fucking doing?" And I'm like, "No, Jesse's a good guy," and blah, blah, blah. And he agreed to this amount. And if he asks for more, I'm going to tell him to go fuck his mother. So, and everything was
Right.
always cool with me and Jesse after that. Me and Jesse were cool.
Yeah.
So
I remember that he asked for more money.
no
but,
problems.
Yeah, and I remember why Johnny had asked to sleep in my room that night.
Oh, did you fucking veto that?
I did. Do you remember why?
Was this when you were getting see, I don't want to get too risque with the
No,
thing.
we don't have to say names. Right,
Wait, is this
right.
when you were getting a gibber from someone that's given other people gibbers in South Florida?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like I'm trying to even think of a coy way to say it, but I don't
There's
know.
no coy way. Just let it be.
The initials both start with the same letter.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that person.
By the way,
So-
she gave you want a funny story? She gave Jude a gibber in Jay Lethal's car in the parking lot of an ICW show when Jay Lethal drove down with like Mark and
Yeah.
Swifty and then we were at the diner over here, the Flashback Diner, and he found out that he had gotten a gibber in his car, and he kind of got all bent out of shape for a minute or two until we're like, listen, we're all boys, you know, a gibber's a gibber. You got to be happy for your boys, you know. You got to help facilitate, not be a blocker.
So Johnny, I wouldn't let Johnny in the room because I was like, you're not allowed to sleep here. He's like, what about after? I was like, no.
Well, there were so many. The
myself.
funny thing is, there were so many other people there that anyone
Right.
Like, if he had even just come to me and said, I would have found a place, or he could have stayed in my room. Like, there were always like, I was always like,
I think you know
what's
who
funny
stayed
is
in my room.
What's funny is like,
I don't even want to tell you who stayed in my room that night. I remember now.
hold on, I'll guess in a second. But I was going to say, what's funny is that like I would always get my own room, or be sharing with one other person, and instead of being like big promoter guy, I always had like 3 or 4 people just stay in my room because like it's more fun. Right. It's more fun to be communal and be hanging out for 4 days straight and all that. But so do I want to guess that it was Frank Stone?
No, it was Seth stayed in my room that night.
Oh, was he? Did he pretend to sleep in there while you were? He
was. He was literally in the bed next
slamming ham.
Yeah.
He
put the the one eye open, like he was sleeping but not.
Right. Kind of like that happened with me and Jackie once.
Really
when I met Jackie, our dear departed friend, a founding member of the Breakfast Club, who's no longer with us. I met Jackie.
No longer with us.
I met Jackie in Daytona when I was there with my girlfriend. And we had, this is how bad of a boyfriend I was at the time. I took her to Daytona for Bash at the Beach for her birthday.
Oh my God.
The whole weekend. But it was but honestly, it was still a trip to fucking Daytona, for her birthday. So we went up there and we stayed at the Adams Mark, which is literally across the street from the venue. And at the Adams Mark, all the boys were staying there. We didn't know that. We were so like, out of we were just fans going like 3 months earlier. I was discovering wrestling all over again when on a scramble, a pirate box, I was discovering that Hulk Hogan had turned heel, So we go up for this thing and I realized the hotel we're staying at, all the fucking boys are staying at. So I go and get a few things to get autographed. And while I'm like hanging out in the lobby with her, trying to get some autographs from some of these guys and get photos and stuff, I just start casually talking to Jackie and his group, and I become friends with Jackie out of that. So what was? I'm totally.
I don't know where the fuck you're going with this.
I forgot what the segue was.
No idea.
What was the segue? Why did I bring this up?
No clue. no idea where we're going with this.
I'm trying to. It would help if I remember the segue. Yep, I don't remember. Fuck it.
I don't know where you were going.
I don't know if this is a good thing we're drinking for these shows now.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to tell wrestling stories about like actual stories, not stories about getting gibbers next to Seth Greg. but I think we blew that spot. We're already like
Well,
40 minutes in.
these are wrestling stories.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's better. Look, it's better than it's better than.
We haven't talked about food yet, so that's
Well, it was better than if you. The original plan, I think, was that you were just going to list the famous people you'd wrestled, like some fucking dirty fucking name dropper, and 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 then you rattled off the names of the people that you thought were famous. And I'm like, you probably
and no one cared.
And I was crickets. I was like, I was thinking when you started naming them to cut you off, because I knew that it was more intriguing to tune in next podcast for who you'd wrestled if we didn't actually know who they were going to be.
Oh God. Well, it's funny because I was watching Scotty 2 Hottie is back on the independent scene wrestling. Like, in Scott, if you watch old WWF back in the day, he was part of Too Cool with Rikishi and Grandmaster Sexy
right.
Christopher. And they used to do like a dance, and he did the worm.
He's famous for doing like that breakdance worm thing where you do your whole body
into a wrestling, into like an elbow or something.
Right. You do the worm across the ring, pop up, and then you it's basically pops up into an elbow drop. It's not even anything exciting, like a swinging elbow drop. Yeah.
But I was watching a video where he did it at some GCW show I don't know where they were, Jersey or something. Well, it sparked me I literally forgot that I wrestled him. I totally forgot I wrestled him. I saw that video the other day and I was like, oh my God, I took the worm. I forgot I took the worm.
Oh, I'm sure you've taken the worm several times in your wrestling career.
Yeah. I give the worm, my friend.
You got some pretty big paydays from Bobby Rogers. I'm sure you've taken the worm.
Don't even start. My name is not David Babylon.
Oh,
that's a story for another day. I don't even know if that's a true story. I'm kidding. If David doesn't listen anyway, he's a big shot at some big company that he probably doesn't have time for us. Anyway, I remember I got to the building and it was in Sebring, Florida, and I had took this booking it was like last minute. Cahagas called me and was like, "Hey," I drove all the way to fucking Sebring, and the wrestling event was at the what is it called? KOA campground.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Well, I don't know if that's where you were, but I've heard of the KOA.
It was. That's where it was.
I've seen the sign. Definitely driving. Past
right.
it.
So I pulled into the KOA campground, and it was a wrestling show for the campers. And not campers. It's not like a day camp. It's like you bring your motorhome there and hang out there. You can stay for the month, you can stay for a day, a weekend, whatever it is. But it was a wrestling show for the campers that were like the people who were visiting this campground, and they got like water park, and it's a pretty cool play, camping and hunting and hiking and all. So anyway, you get there and they're like, for the campgrounds. Cool. So who am I wrestling? He says Scotty 2 Hottie, and I'm like, I'm wrestling Scotty 2 Hottie. What? He's like, yeah, somebody else was supposed to. They didn't show up, so he wanted to be. It was right after WWF run, and he didn't want to be with somebody who was green where he can get hurt.
Let me ask.
So you were like,
let me ask a
the
question
vet,
real quick.
Yeah.
At this point in your career, or at any point in your career, were you even aware of who else was booked on a show?
No.
Okay, I'm just to clarify. You knew who was booked on the show in terms of who could give you a ride, or you could
I didn't know Scotty 2 Hottie was on the show.
Right.
At all.
Okay.
So
there we go.
So they're like, you have to step in and wrestle him. You're like, you're a veteran. You won't hurt him, or you'll take care of him. I'm like, oh yeah.
What year is this that you're a veteran?
This is now. You're talking 2000, probably 4 or 5, I guess. I don't even know. I don't fucking remember.
Jesus.
So I'm like, I go to talk to him and about what we're gonna do, and simple. So easy. And I was never a guy who, I didn't take pictures with anybody. Like if I wrestled on a show with a famous person, or I never took pictures, because in my head I was always like, if I want to be this guy, I shouldn't be taking pictures with him. That's for fans, that's like old school mentality. Nowadays.
Also theoretically, someone's got to have pictures of you wrestling him, which is
right,
way cooler. Yeah.
Right. I just didn't want, people would take a picture and post it on MySpace like they do on Facebook now. And I'm like, I just was never that guy because like, but when he said to me, and I will tell you, there's only two moments three moments I've marked out, and I'll tell you all three. One was the Sky Too Hottie, and when he said, and then I'll slam you and do the worm, I fucking giggled. I was like, he's gonna hit me with the worm! Like, holy shit! Like,
Well, what did you think? Like, did you think
I
he
don't
was?
know. So he does the fucking body slam, and you're supposed to lay there like, oh. I was literally looking at him because I was like, this is the coolest shit ever. And he did the fucking worm, and and he hit me with the elbow, and 1, 2, 3. And I was like, that was the fucking coolest moment ever. Like, he did the worm to me. Like, and he just came off TV, so it was like, that guy was doing the worm to like famous people, not some jabroni, from Boca Raton, Florida.
Right.
That was one time. I'll save the one you're gonna probably think it's the worst. Why would I ever mark out? I'll save that for last. Second time was in TNA 2003. It was me, Eric, and Sal Renault, who's now in NWA. He does NWA now, currently. We wrestled R-Truth, Conan, and Road Dogg. And Road Dogg, like, took to me within, like, 2 seconds. He was like, you're my guy. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. He was like, you just look like you can work. And he's like, I'm not saying the other two can't work, but you look like you can work. So I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, Road Dogg used to do the shimmy. You remember that? Where he'd punch you, do the shimmy, and then, like, punch you again. You take a bump. He would hit the ropes and drop an elbow. He'd, like, shake his legs, like, drop an elbow. I'm doing the motions, by the way, outside in my driveway. So my neighbors are probably like, what the fuck is he doing? So he calls the spot. Well, he comes back over a few minutes later. He goes, let's change it. I said, okay. He goes, what do you do? And I said, what do you mean? He's like, what's like a cool, can you hit a drop kick? And everybody at that time, I could hit a drop kick. And I said, yeah, I can hit a drop kick.
I was like, your thing. That was your thing.
Right. Eric told him, like, this guy can hit a drop kick. He's like, you can hit me in the face because Road Dogg's a big guy. I said, I'll hit you in the face. He goes, when I do my punches, 1, 2, 3, and I go do the big one and I shimmy, duck it, and hit me with a drop kick. And I literally said, you want me to duck your famous, like, shimmy? He's like, yeah. He goes, nobody ever ducks it. I hit it every time. At that moment in TNA, he goes, if you duck it and hit me with a drop kick, people will go, oh shit, did he just miss that? And he said, hit me with a drop kick, and then I'll go back to it later and hit you with it, which he did. So I hit the drop kick, and then ends up he goes back to it. I missed something. He hits the thing, hits the shimmy, hits the ropes, hits the elbow, and we got to the back, and I was like, just glowing. And Eric was like, man, that was so awesome. I go, he fucking let me for like 3 days. I was like, fucking Road Dogg came back to me and called the spot and was like, duck and hit me with a drop kick. I'm like, that's like his signature fucking move. Totally marked out. Are you ready for the third time?
Yeah, I am. Especially since you like kind of built it up.
So we're in IPW in Tampa, and Eric is not there this trip. He couldn't make it. I think he hurt his back. So I went solo. And Ron's like, we'll figure something out. So what, again, I don't know who's on the show. Ron Nimi. Right. So I get there, and on the booking sheet, it says Vandal versus Hogan. And I'm like, Hogan? Who the fuck is Hogan? Like, Hulk Hogan? And I'm like looking around the locker room, and I'm like, I don't know who fucking Hogan is.
Horace,
like,
right?
It was Horace fucking Hogan, which is Hulk Hogan's like nephew or something, right? Yeah. So I didn't and I knew Horace because he was on WCW, but I didn't see him, and all it said was Hogan. So I'm like, Ron, who am I working? He's like, you're working Horace Hogan. Ron is fucking, he's like a Michigan guy, and he's like over there.
How just out of curiosity, that
was the worst impression ever.
Yeah. Did Ron drink before shows back then?
He was hammered.
Because I came up for that one like a couple years ago.
Hammered.
And I just remember that he was like fucking walking sideways like hours before the show started.
Hammered.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm working Horace Hogan. Now he had just like WCW. Again, this is like right after WCW closed. So I went over to him and I'm like, he's a giant fella, number one. He's 6'6". And I marked out because I'm like, this is as close as I'll ever get to wrestling Hulk Hogan. I'm wrestling Horace Hogan. So I go to talk to him. Super, super nice guy. I mean, so nice. And he was like, we'll do this, and we'll make you, look like a big star, blah, blah, blah. So we do the match, and I'm super grateful. And I even told him, I go, this is the closest I'll ever get to wrestling Hulk. And he laughed. He goes, I hear it all the time. So, it was a normal thing.
That's funny.
So the next day, we wake up, we're in Tampa, and Ron calls me. He goes, you see the fucking front of the newspaper of the sports section? I said, what? I was like, Ron, why would I see the front of the newspaper? Like, we partied all night. Like, I don't fucking know about a newspaper. He goes, you got to go to the store, get a newspaper. Look at the sports section. So me and Eric get up, we go to the gas station. I grab a newspaper. We take out the sports section. On the front page is me being choked on the ropes by Horace Hogan. And it says, Horace Hogan chokes Tommy Vandal at an IPW show. And I bought every paper the guy had. I was like, I want them all. He's like, what? I was like, I want every newspaper you have. And he's like, why? I'm like, that's me. He's like, oh shit. I was like, that's me. And that's Horace Hogan. He's like, Horace Hogan. I'm like, it's Hulk's nephew. I was like, whatever. And my dad still has like numerous of the papers. I gave them out to like people. I was like,
we need a photo of that. We need to schedule that.
I'm gonna ask my dad. They're in Florida right now, but when they come home, I'm gonna ask them. I don't have it here. I don't even know. But we were on the front page of the thing, and Horace Hogan was choking me. He was choking me, or I was choking him. I don't even remember, but I was on the front page.
I was thinking of your parents the other day. I was flipping around the dial, and there was like three. There was nothing on, so I watched like 3 old Seinfeld episodes in a row, and and one of them was where George's parents were gonna move down to Boca del Vista.
Boca del Vista.
And your and Jerry's parents were trying to block them from going, and it was the old Independent George fucking storyline, and where then like they're like at the end of it, George's dad calls Jerry's dad. He's like, we're moving to Boca del Vista. We're gonna be in the pool, and we're gonna be on the shuffleboard, et cetera, et cetera. And then Jerry's parents called Jerry like, we're moving back to New York. We can't. We can't deal with the Costanzas moving down here. And then Jerry's like, I went from having them 2,000 miles away to 2 feet away because they're gonna have to move in with me. And I don't know why, but I just thought of your parents.
Well, they went down there to, they have a house to sell down there, a condo. So they're down there trying to figure out if they're going to sell it or not, or what they're going to do.
It's a hell of a good time to sell it right now. That's for sure.
Right, and that's what they're trying to figure out right now. Or do they want to keep it as a spot to go to? When they're tired of the Carolina cold. Maybe they could be snowbirds. Maybe they can. So they're working that out now. That's what they're down there for. So and today's my dad's birthday too. So.
Oh, we should have called him and wished him a happy birthday. Gotten a story.
I'll tell you this. Apparently, he's not in a good mood. Him and my brother got into an argument, and my dad stayed in the car till 2 a.m. because he didn't want to go inside and deal with my brother. So this was last night. So I called him. I wished him happy birthday. I was like, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later because I don't want the wrath of that. I don't want to get involved in that nonsense.
Sounds like a perfect time. So, we should call him right now.
I'm not calling him. No. He's probably at his birthday dinner. Come on.
You're party pooping us. All right.
And they'll put it on speakerphone. The whole restaurant would hear. He doesn't, he's the guy who answers on speakerphone.
Right.
So I got to tell you, these drinks, I got to poop.
I did a pre-gamer. I made sure.
Well, I was fine until I took the 2 shots in this drink, and now I'm like, I got to go. It's coming out. I feel like it's going to be liquefied.
Did you?
We can't have an incident like 2 weeks ago, my friend.
Did you finish your 3rd drink there?
I did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got to go.
All right. Oh, look at you.
All right.
Another excuse. Here we go. It's always an excuse.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
As
Gotta
usual.
go.
All right.
Literally gotta go.
Good podcast.
Yeah, I guess we're
Even
gonna
though
be
you wouldn't let me
drinking
tell
for the
that
next
story.
one, huh?
Yeah.
Let's for the next 100 podcasts. Let's just drink before them. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah. I'll behave.
I mean,
All right, I'll meet you in
listen,
the bathroom.
listen.
We gotta go. We gotta go. Enough of you. I gotta go. This is we're coming up to like game time here, and it's like I'm literally unbuckling my pants. I gotta go. Goodbye.
Hey,
What? I gotta go.
I'm just trying to keep you on longer. That's all.
Yeah, I'm hanging up. That's it. Goodbye.